Well, welcome back to Empty Nest Gypsy. This is Julie's Journey as well on Facebook and Instagram. So I wanted to start going over some of the ways to plan to live full-time travel. Um, I am only going to talk about I only have my experience to talk about. So it can go for anybody in anybody's situation. It's just, I'm just going to give my experience and what I've learned from all my travels and how it is possible to live budget on this in this lifestyle. So the biggest thing is your budget, and know your budget, plan for it, and have a backup budget. Um, Certain countries that you're going to go visit, it's going to be more affordable. I don't like to use the word cheap. I like to use more affordable than maybe what you're used to. I come from Canada, so I know the cost of living of groceries and transportation, hotels, any other expenses in Canada. So it's easy for me to compare um, to the other countries that I'm going to. Set a budget. A daily budget is really good because if you're looking to um, your accommodations per night, your meals per day, and then you can average out your transportation. So it's really good to stick to that budget. As for example, I'm here in Australia right now, which is a very similar cost of living as it is in Canada. Um, so I'm estimating 150 Canadian a day here, which is pretty comparable, and that's not always staying in hotels. I don't stay in hotels, as it is about $200 a night in hotels, and in a 90-day time period here, I just would blow my budget. So I'm estimating I spend about $50 a night here in Australia. But the other thing I do to offset my expenses is for accommodations, I stay in hostels, um, and and you just get used to that, living in hostels. Sometimes you can get a private room in hostels. Those cost about $125 a night. And I do house sitting. So house sitting offers me the ability to stay in somebody's home in trade of caring for the pet and house. It works out really good. I have traveled the world doing this. So that's a way that I can offset my expenses while I'm traveling in a certain country. Some countries there is no house sitting available, and that would be in countries where it's more affordable to live. So I don't look for house sits. That's just kind of how that goes. Saving money for me by picking up groceries, going to the grocery store, not eating out. Um, especially here in Australia, alcohol, and in Canada, alcohol is more expensive, so I don't drink so much. I don't need to. If I am looking for transportation, I look for more affordable methods, and but I also get the experience of overlanding, which I'm trying to do in all these countries. I try to fly as least as I can, unless I ultimately have to. And that's usually covering long distances, heading back to North America, or flying out. Obviously, I have to fly. Um, so I take buses and trains. Public transportation is it's actually pretty affordable here in Australia, and you can kind of go all over the country. In Asia, where I spent 7 months last year, there was excellent public transportation, boats and buses and trains, and you can book them usually the day before. Sometimes the trains would overbook, so you'd have to, in Thailand was a bit tough to get in. So do your planning beforehand. I start planning a trip about 3 months ahead, and I kind of know what my budget is, and I plan accordingly. If you stay in an area longer, if you're staying in an area for a month, you rent a place for a month, or you get a house set for a month. Then you're not spending as much money on the transportation to get there. Every time you move, it costs you money, obviously, to move. And what I'm trying to do, last year, I moved quite a bit, and adding up my expenses, though it was in Asia. Um, it does add up over the period of time. So if you can slow your travel, that's the benefit of slow travel. If you slow your travel down, you spend less on transportation, and you really get into these communities and villages or areas that you want to go explore, and you kind of save more money because you get to find out where the local spots are from the locals because you get to know them. So that's another good tip, to stay in places longer, become part of the community in the local area. They'll always want to help. Even here in Australia and in Canada, you go to some local areas, less touristy, they will offer you suggestions for places to eat, where they might shop, where there's maybe better food prices, groceries or restaurants, when to go out on public transportation, when's the best time to avoid traffic, avoid crowds. Yeah, all those tips are really helpful. Not only saves you time, but it can save you money. So really, to wrap up the budget portion of this travel talk that I want to have is, before you head out, plan, know your budget. And it's always good to have an emergency fund in case you have to, either get a quick emergency flight out, back to your home country, or for healthcare expenses. I will talk about medical expenses, medical insurance while you're out here traveling. I do purchase extra, but that can vary from where your home country is from. So planning is most important. The more you plan, the less stressful of a trip, and you can probably save some money. I look for those. Again, I'll talk about this. My ways to find the bargain deals on the flights. Sometimes you have to give up some sacrifices to save a few dollars. So hostels, yeah, I save a few dollars, but I'm looking for just a good sleep and a shower and a place to chill. And you can meet a lot of people at hostels. My daytime experiences, my wake time experiences is important to me. But again, that is my experience, and that's what I'm looking for. Not everybody is able to do this thing. So find out what your travel characteristics is, and maybe you don't know what that is yet, or what you're able to tolerate and what you won't tolerate. You can have lots of flexibility out here on the road living this lifestyle. So be flexible and push yourself maybe to slightly uncomfortable moments, and maybe it's not going to be as uncomfortable as you think. So anyways, take care, everybody, and thanks for joining my page.